Hello, and welcome again to David Gets Really Nervous and Sweaty on Camera. Last time, I got really sweaty and nervous, but this time, maybe not. Because this time, I have a fan attached to a mouse. I mean a mouse attached to a fan. Let's see if this thing blows me away. So they actually sent us two of these bad boys. I'm guessing different colors. Let's just open this one first. Little instruction manual. At this point, I think most people know how to use a mouse. Plug it in, away we go. All right. So this is the Zephyr gaming mouse. It's a pretty cool mouse. I think I like the shape of it, but what makes it special is that there's actually a little fan on the inside. So the idea is that if you get sweaty palms when you play games, this thing will actually cool your palm for you and help you get those frags. My palms don't get particularly sweaty, at least that's what I thought, until Jono asked me if I wanted to do this, and I said, not really. And then I started noticing that like between my fingers, I actually got really sweaty. And even right now, they're kind of sweaty. So I'm excited to see if this thing actually cools the way it is supposed to. So right off the bat, I actually like this cable quite a bit. It's a braided cable. It's kind of fabricy. It feels like if you had a cable tie, it would shred this thing pretty quickly, but otherwise, pretty durable. This is what I look for most of the time when I'm getting a corded mouse, which admittedly I don't use anymore. I use a wireless mouse just for the freedom it provides, but there's definitely an argument to be made for corded mice, especially when you consider the weight. Speaking of weight, this mouse is 68 grams, which is a little bit heavier than some of the lightest corded mice, like the Model O minus, which I think is about like 58. But it's definitely still lighter than all the wireless ones, the lightest ones including the Viper Ultimate, which is like 77, 78, or the G Pro at 80. At home, I use a 403 wireless, which is about 100 grams. So no matter what, this thing's gonna be quite a bit lighter. How that's achieved and how they achieve the cooling is actually this kind of honeycomb-ish design. It's a little more organic looking on this one. Often it's kind of a straight hexagon shape. If you look inside, can you see that? Inside, you can see the fan. It kind of looks like a little turbine. The clicking is good. These are Omron 50 million switches, so they're rated pretty high. I know there's been some reliability issues with these ones, especially in Logitech mice. They're either undervolting or using too low of a current, and so the circuit and the electrical on the mouse isn't actually meant to handle that. This shouldn't be a problem because this is a wired mouse, and so I can't imagine they're trying to do any like power saving or anything like that. So it should last up to the 50 million, at least mechanically. I mean, the electrical always goes out before 50 million. So on this mouse, there's the two main buttons. There's the mouse wheel with the click. There's the top middle button, which is the DPI. There's two side buttons, front, back. You can mount them however you want. Also on the bottom, you can see the PixArt 3389 sensor. Nothing wrong with that sensor. It's considered a flawless sensor. That's the joy of reviewing mice now. It's not about seeing how accurate a sensor is. It's more about how it feels in your hand, how it plays. And that's something only I can give you. So let's find out. All right, so we've plugged the mouse in. And the RGB is extraordinarily bright. So you change it by hitting the two buttons and then hitting the side buttons. So there's a whole variety of RGB. My hand is in the way. Is there a way to do this? Nah, it's not gonna work. Honestly, I would probably have this off. I usually keep RGB on my computer off. I find it distracting. Apparently in the final production model, there'll be a way to turn it off. But for now, let's go with the rainbow. Who doesn't love a rainbow? So when I plugged it in, you can feel the fan kick up. It's got different settings, so you change it with that button on the bottom. It sounds weird, sounds bad. Right now there's the three settings. There's off, no noise, no vibration. There's this setting, which is I think about 4,000 RPM. There's this one, which is 7,000 RPM. And then there's gonna be a 10,000 RPM option, but apparently they don't have that available quite yet. So the question, I think this is like the main question of this mouse is, can I feel the air? You know what I do feel? Is like vibration city. This is insane. I would not be into using this. It is so distracting. It feels like there's like a rumble pack in this. Maybe they can do like a firmware update where they make it that the fan changes for rumble. You can get like some vibration feedback, heck yeah. The vibration actually goes down on the higher setting, but the noise goes up. That being said, most of the time when I'm PC gaming, I'm usually wearing a headset, so does it really matter? No, but the vibration, yes, that does really matter. I can feel a little bit of air. I wouldn't describe it as particularly like much cooler than using a honeycomb shaped mouse anyway. Yeah, it's okay. Is this a game changer? Probably not, but that's okay. Mice are pretty good as they are. Okay, so why don't we fire up a game? Sensitivity is high, but with one button press, we're switching between 400 and 16,000 all the way up. I want to play a game that is both Twitch shooter and a little bit scary. And the first game that came to mind was 2005's Fear, which is long overdue for a remake, so make that hashtag happen. Fear remake 4K 2020? Yeah, that's the one. Ooh, I think my sensitivity is too high. It would be nice to have a bungee, as I think that's kind of the big downside to corded gaming, is that sometimes you're pulling and then all of a sudden it yanks in the wrong direction. Yo, is there acceleration and smoothing on this thing? That is not cool. They didn't send like a control software, did they? No. Okay, I've got to turn that off in Windows. There was no smoothing, but it didn't feel quite right. So it might just be that the DPI isn't set how I'm used to. It'd be nice to have some kind of software control so you can be sure that things are right, because right now I'm just going off feeling, and that feels pretty close to what I'm used to at home with my 403. Yeah, that kind of stuff can come later, so it's not that big of a deal. I like the feel of light mice. Like the Model O- is like a really good mouse, and this feels kind of similar. The shape's a little more kind of jagged. I don't love the way that this bottom feels in my palm. I'm particularly partial to non-ambidextrous mice that kind of curve one way and my hand can kind of fit in there. That's why I like the 403. But overall, it's pretty comfortable. I don't love the way that these buttons are kind of covered by this ledge here. I kind of like having my fingers closer to the edge, and this feels like it prevents me from gripping it how I want. But like I said, mice, it's a preference thing. So maybe that's what you like. Now let's play a little more Fear, because I'm on the clock and now I get to play video games. So I don't have headphones right now, so I mean, I can hear the mouse. It's not that bad. Even when I'm not thinking about it, it's just like a little bit of a whine. I can deal with that. I can handle that. Oh, I thought you were dead. As I played and as I warmed up, partially because of my nerves, I actually can feel the fan going. So if you're someone who's like partial to having your palm get warm, you know what? It's kind of cool, it kind of works. I think it could use a little bit of refinement. It's not bad, but it just vibrates a little bit. But I want to try it in the game that I know best, that I know what a mouse should feel like, and that's Rainbow Six. So let's load that up. Whew. I'm all sweaty everywhere but my palms. So I'm gonna cool down with my refreshing cold water of my lttstore.com water bottle. If only a mouse could do that. Oh, now I'm all wet. What did I do? While this game's loading up, I'm gonna take a look at what the white mouse looks like. Huh, figure that. It's the same mouse, but white. These pads on the bottom don't feel particularly good. They're kind of sticky. I wasn't noticing any resistance on the pad, but I don't feel like they would last forever. I'm just gonna do a regular Terrasan. Let's go Ash, because I love the R4. I'm just gonna do a full auto run. Normally when I'm warming up to play Rainbow Six in ranked, I will play with the single shot and trying to go headshots only. But just to kind of give this a chance first, let's just see how we do. Okay, it still has my settings. Oh wow, okay, all right. It's definitely different, but I mean, it's hard to judge a mouse off first impressions because it always takes a little bit to get used to. And I haven't played as much Rainbow Six in the last couple months. Okay, that's enough of that. Let's try the 403. Okay, yeah, this is definitely the mouse I'm more used to. But that's not a knock against the other one. The other one, I could see getting used to it. When I first heard that it was a mouse with a fan in it, it seems so gimmicky, but it's a proper gaming mouse. And if it's the shape that you like, there's no shame in using that. And if you have sweaty palms, there's no shame, man. You don't even need to get help. Just get love.
Or get a mouse.
Or get a mouse. Andy, you're right. You're right. I think if you have a sweaty palm, getting like a Model O or a Model D would be totally fine. I think the cooling does a little bit, but I think just having the honeycomb shape does more. Like the difference between this and this isn't that extra airflow, it's having just passive air kind of being able to go in and out. And so if you have sweaty palms, give them a try. Try the Model O, the Model D, the final mouse, if you can still find one. I think the Cooler Master 710 is a honeycomb. There's lots of choices. This is a good choice though. It's a good one to put in your options. It started at $79 for the early bird, and I think it's going up to $100 when it's kind of full production. And it's a pretty good mouse. I would say there's lots of options. I wouldn't highly recommend this, but it's pretty good. And it's a cool, unique feature, and maybe this is the right thing for you. And so that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe. If you like me, check out Carpool Critics, our movie podcast. And check out the links below if this mouse interests you. So thank you very much. Actually, wait, no, wait. I had to do one more test. This is the make or break feature. Can you take this mouse to Disney World with you, plug it into a power bank, and use it as a fan? And the answer is yes. This is amazing. Oh yeah, I can't feel anything. Now, I wanna see if both mice at maximum. Oh, I can feel it. You know what? Let's do it. Next time I go to anywhere warm, bring this mouse with me.